created a league of teams sorted by age. Meaning, all the best 16-year-olds are in one side, led by Lamine Yamal, going all the way to an age 35 plus team featuring Lionel Messi. 20 teams with 20 different ages, and we're going to run a full 38 game season to see who is the best. Now, the season preview puts the 29-year-olds as favourites just ahead of the 24-year-olds. However, looking at the teams, you can kind of understand why. If we're going by the age 29, you've got the likes of Edison and John Stones. Marquinhos has a lot of fantastic players here that you could think would probably fill out a full 11. But it's very difficult to see who is going to beat the 24-year-olds when they got the likes of Mbappe, Declan Rice and Ødegaard in midfield, even a decent defense in Araujo, Trent there, Hakimi, Donnarumma in the goal. How is anybody going to be able to beat this team? Now, it doesn't surprise me too much that at the bottom of the table, we have the 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and kind of every teenager team that's there. But that's mainly because, obviously, their average current ability is going to be a lot less than what the teams that are in their prime years or even their older years. It does surprise me, however, that the 35-plus are up in 4th place. I know that they have the likes of Lionel Messi, Luka Modric, Benzema, and even Ronaldo, but I still thought that there would maybe be a couple of teams that are like 27, for instance, be a lot higher. They're all the way down in 12. 27 is supposed to be in your prime years. If we take a look at the age 27 team, that has Rodri, Sane, Grealish. This is a great team, and yet it's like below mid-table right now. And so what I've done is I've given every team a transfer embargo, so nobody can buy any players or sell any players to anybody. So hopefully we can get all of these teams to just play with these players throughout the whole season and get an idea of which age group on Football Manager is the best. Now, the first lot of fixtures has come through, and I'm quite surprised by some of the results already. My age group, age 31, got stuffed 3-1 by the 20-year-olds. But then again, they do have some unbelievable players when it's Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, Pedri, Musiala, Vert. I mean, how do you fit all of those attacking players into the team? You just simply can't, especially when they're playing a 4-3-3, but they still won 3-1, which obviously I was a little bit shocked with. The 18-year-olds defeated the 27-year-olds. What is happening there? I don't quite understand. And the age 34s can even score against the 16-year-olds. They've done very well in the very first week of this league, but it's a long old season. There's 37 other games to play. Can they hold on, or will they end up getting relegated? Well, as optimistic as I was for the youngest team in this league after their very good start, it didn't exactly continue that way. And they find themselves with 3 losses on the bounce after that one draw and playing against a lot of the older clubs with age 33, age 27, but then even losing to the 18-year-olds quite comfortably too, 3-0. The second favourites, the 24-year-olds, have been very much impressing and living up to the expectations that were bestowed upon them. Winning 3 of their 4 games so far, only dropping a couple of points to the 19-year-olds thanks to a Alejandro Garnacho penalty, and topping the league after 4 games with 10 points. I think there's 2 shocking factors in this very early stage. One is the 28-year-olds. They have a very stacked team and they find themselves down in the relegation zone right now, and they lost to the 22-year-olds and the 24-year-olds, and they drew to the 23 and 21-year-olds. They have players like Bernardo Silva and Joshua Kimmich, and they're struggling right now. But the age 18, the 18-year-olds are up in 4th place. They've won 3 out of their 4 games so far and doing incredibly well. They only lost to the 25-year-olds, but they beat the 27-year-olds. They beat the 32-year-olds, and they beat the 16-year-olds quite comfortably. So they've had a fantastic start to the season. That, unfortunately, didn't exactly continue to happen, because after that win against the 16-year-olds, they nearly went 2 whole months without winning another game until they finally beat the 31-year-olds, and then it's been very sparse since, and now they find themselves down in 13th place. The favourites for the competition, the 29-year-olds, actually went through a bit of a rough patch, losing 3 on the bounce, but then they've only lost 1 since and really kicking on into gear, picking up some massive wins as we went into the new year. Jude Bellingham is the best player in the 20-year-old team, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to carry his team as much as what he had hoped. They're picking up very inconsistent form. So we've just got into January now, and as we can see, the league table is kind of where we would expect it, other than obviously the 29-year-olds who are favourites down in 7th place. The second favourites, the 24-year-olds, they're first right now. Age 24 is doing very well, and they've only lost one game to the 27-year-olds who are in second place, who have managed to obviously recover from the bad start that they've had. But as we highlighted earlier on, this team is phenomenal. They've got really good players. They've got an abundance of talents that even the fact that they can't even register half of the really good ones, and they're still managing to dominate this league campaign. 5 draws that they've picked up against a lot of the mid-20s and the age 19, which I'm guessing was a bad result because they're all the way down in 15th place. And if we are looking at the bottom of the table, there's a lot of the clubs that are in the later stages of their career, as well as 16 and 17 who are the bottom 2. But the 35-plus-year-olds, they're doing us proud, aren't they? Because 11th place, they're mid-table, they're staying away from relegation. I think they're doing really well. Goals-wise, so far this season, Erling Haaland's been banging them in for the age 23. He's got 14 already in 16 appearances. Gyökeres is doing quite well too with 13. And Mbappe, of course, with the age 24s, is up there as well. But there are some surprise packages. I mean, Mo Salah from the age 31s getting 9 goals. Come on, Mo, for the age 31s. But Olivier Giroud, I love him. 9 goals already in the 17 games for the age 35 and overs. That, of course, is Lionel Messi and Ronaldo's team. They're doing really well. We haven't mentioned a lot the age 30s. That does include Harry Kane's age group as well. And you can see that side is quite good. And they just kind of like flown under the radar. They got some great players. They got some okay players. They're currently in 5th place. They're doing quite well, actually. They also stayed rather consistent too, as well as did Harry Kane, who continued to score them a lot of goals. Things did, however, start to catch up for the age 35-plus-year-olds, as despite having Lionel Messi and Ronaldo up front, they started losing a lot of games. They may not have the legs that they used to, and that kind of shows in their results as they started slipping down the league table. I'm still so impressed by the 18-year-olds though. They've managed to keep on plugging away and picking up a lot of wins and find themselves comfortably in mid-table. The same cannot be said, unfortunately, for the 17 and 16-year-olds who are only on 16 and 14 points and find themselves far adrift from the bottom 3. So let's finish the rest of the season and see who comes out on top, and unfortunately, who comes out down the bottom. It's probably the 16-year-olds, right? Well, in a shocking turn of events, no, actually, they still finished bottom of the league. 20 points, though. They won another 2 games. They won 5 in total. The 16-year-olds, I think, did a lot better than what I anticipated, considering how bad they are in terms of current ability. Of course, they've got loads of potential. The top performers, Noah Darvic, 5 goals in 30 appearances. Ethan Nwaneri was also up there. I mean, Lamine Yamal, I was actually quite surprised, didn't do as well as what I thought he would. Same as Naipan and Van Persie. Those are the 3 in that squad that I thought might carry them because they do have high current abilities, especially Naipan in midfield is very good, and Van Persie kind of develops quite well if you give him first team football. So yeah, I'm not too surprised by them finishing bottom, but I'm disappointed in maybe those 3 players more than anything. And yeah, they unfortunately finished bottom of the league with age 17, or the year above, finishing 5 points higher than them. And that was only down to a couple of, 5 draws more than what they managed to pick up for the 16-year-olds. But at the top, as predicted, well, the season preview was obviously not them. It was that's changed anyway. It was the age 29, wasn't it? But the 24-year-olds have finished as champions. Now, wouldn't you believe it? That is Mbappe's age group. Well, their team in total is actually class. I mean, they've got Nunez up top, Diaby, Ødegaard and Rice in midfield. They've got some quality players. The defence, I think, is probably what's won it for them. They've got a phenomenal defence and a lot of really good backup options as well that they could use. The likes of Bastoni and, Trent Alexander-Arnold coming off the bench. Like, absolutely stacked team is the 24-year-olds, and rightly so. They won the league. However, they finished on the same points as Erling Haaland's 23-year-olds and just 1 point above the 22-year-olds. Which, I've got to say, that's probably the most shocking for me out of everything. Because their team's actually decent, but they've kind of come out of nowhere. I don't know whether they were just like hiding around in mid-table or they've sprung up, but we haven't highlighted them at all, really. They do have a great team. I think their starting 11 is great. They don't maybe have the necessary like world-class players from the bench. They got some decent players coming off the bench for them. I mean, I think at the minute Victor Boniface and they've got Mohamed Kudus is also there. So, but their starting 11 is very good, the 22-year-olds, and they've really outshone themselves. I think the most shocking part about this is how bad a lot of the teams did who are in their prime years. Age 29 being one, obviously. That's one of the ones that we highlighted that should be doing a lot better. Age 30 as well. They finished in 6th place. They actually did the best out of what I would say is kind of like the older generation. But 27, 26, I thought they would be the top. I really did. I thought these age groups were the highest current ability players you'd find. 28 finished in 10th place. And 25th, really, if you consider like the age groups around them, 26 and 24, both finished in the top 4, one of them winning it. The 25-year-olds did terribly well. Terribly bad. Sorry, where did I get that from? Especially because Gyökeres seemed to score quite a lot of goals. They had Lautaro Martinez, although he's been out injured for a lot of it. Their midfield is stacked. Their defense is stacked. And they finish in 12th place. Yeah, I think that's the most surprising factor coming onto this first page straight away, is how bad some of these age groups actually did. My age group, age 31, finished in 13th. We didn't do any better at all. But they survived. The age 35 plus, they only dropped down to 16th place. Well done them. Now, stats-wise, most goals were scored by the 23-year-olds, with the 24-year-olds coming right after the 22-year-olds. So the youngsters, really, who managed to score quite a lot of goals. The most shots were very similar to looking like that. The fewest shots against was the 20-year-olds. Now, that does shock me. Obviously, that's the team with Jude Bellingham in it. They've done very well to prevent a lot of shots coming at them. And where did they finish in the league? They finished in 9th mid-table, did Jude Bellingham's 20-year-old team. Most possession was the 21-year-olds, the 33-year-olds. So no real correlation in terms of age there, because that's split between the front three there quite drastically. But the fewest conceded was also the age 24s. So, I mean, that just goes to show they won the whole thing. They conceded the least amount and scored the second highest amount. So the 24-year-olds with the most clean sheets, they did exceptionally well. I mean, the goalkeeper, who are they using in goal? Donnarumma. So the Donnarumma in goal is obviously a big part of that, because he's a towering figure in net. And he's done really well there. But what about the player statistics then? So we got the most goals from Erling Haaland, who obviously the age 23s. Mbappe was up there as well, but 8 goals behind Erling Haaland. Harry Kane, so the top 3, it's kind of who you'd expect, really. Gyökeres coming in there as a surprise joint third package, really, because he also got 17 like Harry Kane. And Victor Osimhen down in 6th place there. But I think Milik's done quite well, age 29, to get 15 goals there. I didn't expect to see Milik even on this video, if I'm honest. Most assists was Phil Foden from the 23s as well. They had the most player of the matches, which was dominated, by the way. Considering they didn't win the league, this is dominant. I mean, their front line is disgusting. I don't know whether their defense isn't that good, the 23s. Let's have a look. The defense, Reece James, De Ligt, they should have done a lot better, really, shouldn't they? Because their defense is decent. They got like Tchouaméni on the bench as well. Yeah, a little bit surprised by them not actually winning the league, I must admit. I know the age 24s were really good, but that age 23s are stacked. Like, that is ridiculous. Alright, fair enough. So, the most player of the matches, 3 of the age 23s was up there with 6. And to be fair, the 24s had Kylian Mbappe also do that. Most dribbles, age 21. Fewest conceded, 22, as we've seen. The 22-year-olds did actually really well. Mamardashvili was in net for them and only conceded 21 goals for them. But obviously he only played 28 games. So you need to remind yourself of that. Donnarumma, who played all 38, only conceded 26 goals. So that's the most impressive one out of that, and he has the most clean sheets to thank for that. But there we have it then. That's another experiment that I really enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you did, please make sure you are subscribed. If you've got any other ideas, stick them down in the comment section as well. But why not check out this video, because I opened up a mystery package. It had a shirt inside, and it turned the whole save into a Build a Nation like save. Click right here right now to watch it.